What's up, guys? We're back.
Hello, y'all.
As you can see, we both have hats on because once again, another rainy day while filming this pod. I'm convinced it's either rain or snow or some type of inclement weather. So we have a different look today.
Right. And y'all, listen, I already discussed on previous episodes the leave out issue. Rain, natural hair equals no bueno. So, I had to represent my nephew, Prophet, because we're profitable in this family. Praise God.
We all about the prophet.
We all about the prophet. How everybody doing out
Benjamins.
there? I was sitting here, thinking earlier, and I was just marinating in my thoughts. You ever just, think about certain things and it just leads to other things and everything like that?
Like rabbit hole?
Not so much a rabbit hole, but I feel like coming out of the rabbit hole.
Okay.
You could either be in the rabbit hole and you coming out, or you out going in.
Okay.
But either way, I was thinking about something that I think is really important. And I was just like reflecting on things, going on in my life and stuff like that. And I wanted to just ask you, what do you think about quality over quantity?
Oh. In what aspect?
In every aspect, friend. This is what I was thinking about. I was just, reflecting on certain things. And I say quality over quantity because as you go through life, like we always say, life is a journey. And you start looking at things, how you used to be or what you used to do or who you used to be with and different things like that. And like I said, everything in life's journey, it reflects back onto you. And I was just thinking there was like a time in my life where, I felt like I had to be around a lot of people. I had to be, embraced and know this one, know that one. And going down the line, friend, half of them people ain't even like me. But I just felt like, the validation part of it, it was just, I needed that. I needed to feel that. And as you get older and your life changes and you go through different things, it's like, all you want is peace.
I can see that. I have never been a quantity person. So I never really had like a huge friend group, not in school, not after school, not even now. Like I don't have a huge friend group.
I'm all you need, friend.
I don't really care about quantity, but the quality of people that are in my life, I think are more important to me.
Praise God, amen.
I'm not really a big quantities person on anything. I don't need a lot of things to make me happy. I don't need a lot of people. I don't need a lot of anything. Like I'm really not an excess person.
Right.
I'm more, I guess, minimalist. I've been called a minimalist.
But there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
I have never been someone out there, like out, where I'm known. I'm known because I'm like in the same place.
I turned my phone off. Go ahead, friend.
See, quantity. I'm known because I'm in the same place for the last 27 years.
Right.
The town is small. I'm known. My place is known. Therefore, I'm known, associated to it.
Right.
But as for people in my life, like a large amounts of group, like I'm okay with really being like low key or just one person.
Right.
And that doesn't really bother me, but that has never really bothered me. I'm not really one who likes a lot of things, and that includes people.
She ain't lying.
I like people.
Yeah, she didn't even like me in the beginning, but that's another topic.
I like people, but to let you in my life
Right.
is a whole different thing.
No. And you know what I've learned as I've gotten older? I didn't have a lot of friends, Connie. I just knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like now, I guess this is with age and maturity and also growing and different things. It's like the biggest thing is peace. I like my routine. I see the same people every day. I basically do the same routine every day. And it was like, that was for me an indicator of growth. Because I don't have to be everywhere. I don't have to be around everyone. And it's like you literally silence the outside noise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I just wanted to ask, what were your thoughts on quality over quantity? And that could be in anything, friendships,
I definitely
relationships.
think quality is key, because the thing is, like, you can have 100 shirts, right?
Right.
But you're really not going to wear them all.
No.
So it would be better to have maybe 5 good ones
Then 100
on your rotation than
cheap
100 cheap ones.
Right.
But it's the same thing. Like, there's people that, you know, I know who have a lot of people in their life, right?
Preach.
You know people, they're known, they know people, this and that. But when it comes down to it,
where are they?
Are those your people?
Where are they? Or are you their people?
Yeah. Like, are those your
Is
people?
it reciprocal?
Because, you know, you can know 100 people, 100 or people, you could be known, your name can hold weight,
right,
or whatever the case is.
But what value,
like,
though? What value?
Yeah, like,
do you
at
get
what
from that?
price and what cost? And that's where I think quantity and quality come into play. Like, at what cost is that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I was thinking about some things today, because in the morning I pray, I talk to God, and I literally meditate, because of the fact that I just, sometimes your thoughts could get the best of you. And I feel like once you have that private time and that time, you know, with God, it's like, okay, God, direct my day, direct my thoughts, direct my emotions, you know, even though sometimes, you know, I drift a little, but, you know, so what was downloading today was like, you know what, Tyra, you're at a point in your life where all you want is peace and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when a lot of opinions, voices, people, and not saying everyone has bad intentions, but also too, not everyone has the best intentions as well.
Well, I think because first of all, everybody has an opinion, right?
Right.
And opinions also are based off of your own experiences, feelings, thoughts, perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can take your opinion, but your opinion might not fit in my situation.
Right.
Although you might have gone through a similar thing, is it actually, you know, it's not the same situation. And even if it was the same situation,
different
the
people.
characters are
You're
different.
two different
like,
people.
the people are different. The characters are different.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, anyone can have an opinion, but for someone to hold that much weight on an opinion, on other people's opinions,
it's something internal.
It's something internal. Like, I think at the end of the day, we can only make our own opinions. Like, are we all looking? I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, okay, quantity or quality. Is it better to have a long life, or is it better to have a life that you lived?
Whoa.
You know, like, again, there's quality over quantity. Like, okay, you know, I think the goal is to not, you know, transition, right?
Of course.
Clearly, it's part of life.
But it's the inevitable, too.
It's the inevitable. But, you know, when you're younger,
you don't think about
stuff like that. But it's something that is going to happen.
Right.
The thing is do I want to live like 90 years just okay and just like complacent,
right?
Or do I want to live 50 and live
your best life,
you know? Like, so I think, again, that's about quantity and quality. And I think, you know, clearly, like I said, we all don't want to transition, but like, at the end of the day, I think what matters is the quality of life that we live.
Exactly.
There's people that are older who have zero quality of life. They're not, they can't
do
walk,
for themselves.
They can't move.
They
can't speak. You know, their mind. Is that a quality of life? Like, okay, you're still here on this physical plane, but, and it's a good thing for your family members who don't want, but are you actually, like, what is your quality of life? And I think quantity and quality can just be used in every aspect. It's not just a friendship based,
materialistic
based,
right? It could touch on different things.
Just in general, like, you know, what type of quality of, it's the same in my at, like in my case, like I work a lot of hours. It doesn't enable me to have like
free time.
And, you know, and that's again, like quantity or quality.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, whatever, that is my situation at this moment.
But when you get them free moments, friend, we be living for
you know, so it's again, like you have to kind of like put into perspective of what is worth for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it the quality that time that you spend with someone, or the quality time of what you do with your life, or is it the quantity? Like
Mm-hmm.
you could be with someone every single day and just live a monotonous life.
Amen.
And that means what?
Nothing.
Like your quality of life.
And you know what I learned too? I saw something that said there's a difference between being alive and living.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get caught up with being alive and think that's living.
Yeah.
No, when you're just alive, you're existing. But are you really living? You know what I mean? And once you get that click, it's like, I want to live. And then when you hear things, you know, sudden passings or sudden things that just hit you, we are literally on borrowed time.
We are,
and it makes you change your perspective on certain things. And it's like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And for a person, you know, like me, who struggled, like I said, I'm very open with, you know, my shortcomings, who struggle with low self-esteem. I think having that quantity made me feel seen or made me feel important. But little did I know, now pushing 40, ma'am, sit down somewhere and do the inside work. And it's like, now it's peace. Now it's like, okay, I have that person that I could run to. I have this person I could do this for. I don't need all of that. You know what I mean? And it's such a peaceful thing. And she always laughing at me, y'all. Let me tell you something. We have the most dysfunctional friendship, but it's an understanding. She get mad and talk about, you always do it, just because I love my Chicago Fire and PD. But I caught up on BMF.
Geriatrics.
It's all right. It's all right, friend. I'll be in my house looking ugly. I'll be in my house looking ugly with my granny nightgown on, my bonnet, my glasses, because I am nearsighted. And I'll be watching my Paramount, Peacock, whatever. And I just be chilling. Don't let me have some chocolate or some Gushers. Leave me alone. I'm barricaded.
She is always barricaded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not healthy.
It's a balance. It's a process. I'm here though, right?
There's no balance.
Whatever.
But on a side note. So yeah, I definitely think that's the quantity, quality, my take on that. Like, I've never been someone for
That's
quantity.
your view, friend. That's your input
on this topic.
Well, look at my face. Whatever. So, you know, I just feel like we are at a time where, you know, social media shows all the highlights, the winning, which is great. You know what I mean? You could literally celebrate genuinely people. But I feel like there is a lack of transparency. You know what I mean?
I heard today that Facebook and Instagram was down.
It was.
For a time
I
being.
thought it was my phone, because my phone always giving me problems.
And people were
losing it.
Yeah, like losing it. Like, it ain't that serious.
Mm-mm.
Like I use social media.
Yeah, we both do.
You know, I'm not on social media. Am I going to say that I'm not? But to lose my mind because I can't keep track of what someone's doing or what someone's posting.
Or making a post or uploading a pic.
Yeah, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely more.
It is more to life
on than that.
And the thing is, too, it's like, what were you doing before social media? You know, it's at the end of the day, it's literally an app.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I wanted to ask you, Constantina, what we are in the third month, almost the end of first quarter of 2024. Mm-hmm. What do you want your 2024 to look like, friend?
My 2024, I honestly, I'm trying to just take this month by month. Like, I thought about this yesterday.
Well, month by month, day by day.
Like, I thought about this yesterday. Like, what do I want my March to look like? Mm-hmm. Like, what do I want to know by the end of March? Like, all right, I checked this off my list. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, I think, is, again, working on things that just keep resurfacing and not even triggering, like they're just resurfacing, and it's like they're resurfacing for a reason, and I'm trying to figure out why. But on a side note, other than that, like I need to start like focusing on like small goals, because if I look at like the bigger picture of 2024, it's overwhelming. And I hit a milestone this year. Yes. And it's
what's that milestone, friend? What's that milestone?
50.
50.
I will be 50 in a couple months.
Yeah, does she look 50? And absolutely not.
The thing is 50 is a touchy age for me, because my dad passed real young. He was 43, so I passed that age. My brother passed at 50. So it's like, I'm blessed to be, I mean, it's not here yet, but I'm blessed to be reaching the 50 mark. And it's like, what did like when I turned 30, I had like a breakdown.
Why?
Because when you're younger and you think of 30,
you think it's old.
You think like you're supposed to be in a certain place.
Of course, we
put
that pressure on ourselves.
And when I was 30, I mean, I had kids young. Like I had 2 kids. I didn't own a house yet. I didn't own the business yet. Did I own the business yet? No, I didn't own the business yet. So it was kind of like, I felt like we weren't where we needed to be.
Or where you thought you should have been.
Yeah, or where I thought I would have been. Because like when I was in school, I was convinced like I was going to go to college, finish college, have a career. But, like how life was supposed to be. Well, life didn't go that way.
Yeah, because it was your plan.
I ended up, having my daughter young. I got married really young. I was in between school. And then it's like we started working in the pizzeria, but it wasn't mine. And it's like now I just became a worker for my mom. And then in the midst of that, I decided to go back to school to finish my degree. I did that. I finished school like in 2 years. I finished mad credits in 2 years with a working full-time, baby full-time, school full-time, and a husband.
Let me tell you something. One thing about her on a side note, like I said this before, if there's a class or something for her to sign up, Connie's going to do it. Connie's going to sign up for classes and take some courses. And not only just take them, she's going to ace them. But
yeah,
go ahead, friend.
I finished my degree, then I took my exam to teach, and it's like I passed all of that, and then life had another turn for me. And what I didn't want to do is what I ended up doing. And
so
that was
what was your career? Like, what did you want to go to school for? What did you think that you were going to do?
My degree is in psychology.
So you were going to be a teacher?
Sociology. I had a double major.
Oh,
my plan was to be a counselor in school. I had to get my school credits, so I was going to do the alternate route, which was something that they provided for that point of life, that point of years. I don't know if they do that anymore. So that was my goal. My mother was supposed to sell the pizzeria. My husband at the time was working for a trucking company, had a good job. We would have been set, but life took a different turn. And we weren't doing that anymore. So then we decided to buy the pizzeria. And it's kind of like my life just got put on the back burner again. So when I hit 30, I felt like
defeated.
I get it. I had a really hard time turning 30, like cried. It was insane. Like, I didn't even feel like that turning 40. And 40, my life was in shambles. But I think, like, I think your 20s, like, looking back at it now, I think your 20s is to kind of figure out who you are.
Or what do you want to do?
Or what do you want to do?
Yeah, and you still don't know who you are.
Like, the whole thing, like, when they make these kids pick whatever they want to go to school for when they're 18, like, you have zero idea what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And do you know at 22 or 25? I don't think so either. Mm-mm. And the thing is, I was already a parent. The surface, I was a parent. Me too. So I had to focus on that. And then I became a parent again. And now it was like serious. Now I'm just kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Mm-hmm. Like, what do I have to offer?
And then you start beating yourself up unintentionally.
And it's like, that 30 mark hit me. And this 50 mark is not hitting me like that. And I always said I was going to be retired by 40 from this business. I'm not, because like I said, life turned different. Beat my ass a little bit at 40, but here I am at 50, and now it's like I'm really genuinely thinking like, what am I doing next? So instead of me looking at this year as in where it's going and what is my goal or what do I want this year to look like, I need to figure out what my next chapter in my life is.
That's a good thing.
And it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Can I like use my degree? Yeah, I can. But do I want to?
I would love to see her as a school counselor. Oh my, that will be funny. That will be funny because she's very quiet. Like, she'll talk, but she's very quiet, but she's very cut and dry. So I could just imagine a kid
like,
coming.
What do you want?
No. Why are you doing that? What's your problem? Your mother know you doing that? Well, I'm about to call her. She's about to find out. Like, I could just imagine her. You ever saw that movie Bad Teacher?
If you see how I interact with the kids that come in.
Like, they're full grown adults.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Or, yeah. So, I don't know what this year is going to look like for me. But I definitely think this is the year for me to figure out what my next chapter is and actually start putting in the steps to get to that next chapter. Do I think like it's Napoli is in my past? No, I don't think I'm ready for that.
First of all, let me tell you something. Even if she got to take one of them ovens home just to have it as a souvenir, Connie is not going to get away from that Napoli's whatsoever. She might just cut up lettuce just for free to feel like she there at the salad bar. Like, she has an entanglement with Napoli's. It's like, even when she's not there, she's there. It's like, friend, the building gonna last. Go home.
So it's like, yeah. Do I think like it's over for it? No. But do I think I need to figure out what my next chapter is? Yeah. And I think I need to be serious about thinking about what my next, because I've been saying it like, oh, I'm not going to figure out what I'm going to do. But I think like 50 like was a mark in my head. Yeah. Like,
for personal reasons.
Like, Connie, we got to get this moving. And now, honestly, I think it's like finally my turn to figure out what I want to do. Yes. It's like I have done like, as much as my work took me away from my kids, it enabled me to have a job that I knew would support them. Right. And I knew my mom was able, because it was hers originally. Like, I knew she was able to take care of them. It worked. It worked in a crazy.
It was a blessing.
Like, if I had to leave, I could leave. If I had to go and get them, I could go and get them. If I had to bring them with me, I could bring them with me. Right. So it was something where it enabled me to do my job as a parent, as much as it took me away from them. Like, weekends didn't exist, whatever. But that wasn't my choice. Right. I never chose to be there.
But God placed you there for a reason.
Yeah. Like, I didn't choose to be there. I didn't choose this path. I chose to be a parent. But
the question is, do we ever choose our path? We think we choose it.
So I think like this is now my time to actually figure out what I want to do for my next chapter.
I love that for you.
Because like my kids are grown and they're pretty situated. Like, that doesn't mean
they have their own life.
Like, doesn't mean I'm not here. I'm still here. Like, they're still very much part of my life. It's just I don't have to say now, well, I'm going to pick this path because it's going to enable me to be a mom, or it'll help me do this, or it'll help my mom. It'll help this. It'll help. It's not for anyone else anymore.
Right. It's about you.
It's about me. If I choose to sell, then I choose to sell, and I go on and move on to something else. If I choose to keep it and do something else, then I choose to keep it and do something else. But it's like,
you making the decision.
Have to make the decision.
You in the driver's
not based off of any other people's circumstances. Right. Plus, but I got to figure out like, who is Connie? Like, who is Connie outside of Napoli?
Because you constantly,
know.
Constantly evolve.
Like I said the one pod in regards to motherhood. Like, after you raise your kids, and you don't even know who you are anymore.
Absolutely
because you're not
not.
the same person you were when you started that journey. You become different, you learn different.
Yeah.
You evolve,
And even experiences change you in the midst of that journey.
and then life experiences change you. So you're not even the same person when you started that journey. Well, I don't know my identity outside,
because you're so wrapped up into it. I was watching
it's like I am so part of that business
that's your norm. That's your routine.
That's my
that's your comfort too.
My comfort. And it's like I have to break out of that, and I have to do what is best for me, but I have to figure out what that looks like for me. And I think that's what this year is focused on. Like, what does that look like?
Well, do it, friend. You ever saw that movie? I was watching it last week. The Tyler Perry movie, A Family That Prays. And, at the end when the best friend she passes away and Alfre Woodard, she says something. She said, all my life, I lived for other people. And now I want to take the rest of my life and live for me. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about, what I want my march to be. Look at my face, and I hope this is another close-up. What I want it to be is I want to march into my blessings. I want to march out of fear. I want to march out of depression. I want to march out of lack. I want to march out of feeling inadequate. I want to march into my, GLE 63 AMG, black on black with my black tints. I just want to march into the Tyra that I minimized for so long. And I was texting her the other day, and I was saying, like, I was watching a reel that was put up, and I was like, yo, I'm pretty and I'm funny. Double portion. And she's like, it shouldn't have been a reel to take you to know that. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? When you get the realization of things, and I'm like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm just, tapping God on the shoulder saying, good look. But that's what I want my march to be. I want to march out of making myself small. I feel like for so long in my life, I always put myself in a corner, put myself in a back burner.
But the thing with that is where I find myself, it's really just a matter of making a choice.
I know.
And
friend.
that's the hard part.
That is everything, because everything that you want
is on the
other side.
Yeah. And it's like, if you don't make the choice, okay, you can make the choice,
but what are you going to do about it after you make the choice?
Executing it is where
it's true.
Controversy.
And my aunt and I was talking the other day. Shout out to my aunt Mick. I was saying how fear could literally paralyze you. Fear can literally paralyze you, and you don't know the amount of fear that you consume until you're presented with things outside of your comfort zone. And it's like you are literally scared, and everything that you want is on the other side.
Fear keeps me stuck, and it keeps me stuck because
you don't know the inevitable.
Most situations that I've had to deal with are shocking experiences.
Yeah, and that rocks you.
They're never just like where you see it coming.
Ease in.
They're always just like a shock factor, and it gives me no other choice but to deal with it.
Yeah, ride the wave.
So then once it plateaus and it calms down,
you don't want to move.
I don't want to tempt, or it's like, okay, like this feels comfortable now. Like this is comfortable.
Yeah, it's calming.
It may not be great.
It's calming.
But it's comfort. And it's like the fear is if I make a different decision and I screw up, I don't want to deal with it. And fear keeps me paralyzed a lot of times.
And my thing with my fear is I'm realizing my fear, it's not so much of a comfort level for me. I think my fear comes from not good enough, feeling like I'm not good enough or the worth.
I feel that too. And we were talking earlier about that. Like, you sometimes like try and like figure out where certain things come from. And it's like, I know myself, when I start comparing myself to other things,
it goes down a rabbit hole.
I know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because I always thought like, that I wasn't good enough. Like,
Same.
good enough in the sense, like, it was always told to me, if you look like this, you know, you'd be perfect. If you did this, you'd be perfect. If you acted this way, you'd be perfect. And this is like as a kid.
Yeah. And that really burns you.
And it messes, you don't even realize how it messes you up until
something is presented and it triggers it.
And it's triggering.
Yes.
And then it's like, you know, my dad died real young, and he died natural causes, in a sense, like he had an issue, but like it definitely was triggered by other things.
Right.
And as a kid, and I was 15, and I remember thinking, like, we weren't enough for you to not do certain things.
Right. To prevent.
And whether that was true or not,
that's your capacity.
That was
your
my
mindset.
capacity at 15. And then it's like, I repeated that cycle without even realizing I repeated that cycle in my own life, presenting that to my own kids and in my own life. Like, so now as I get older and I realize where a lot of these things come from, now it's like kind of trying to like backtrack and trying to fix that. Like, nah, it didn't matter what you looked like because you were still good enough. Like, it didn't matter that you weren't perfect or you weren't this or you looked like this or you looked like that and you didn't look like everybody else, because what I look like now is pretty much what I looked like then. But back then,
they didn't know how to appreciate it,
looking
friend.
like this was not it. You had to be like tiny, blonde. I checked off 0 of them categories, but so I never fit in, which is why I think I really didn't mind being alone, because I didn't care. I was fine with being alone.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I still will compare myself. Although I know I'm not her anymore.
She still lives within you.
I know who I am. I know what my value, I know what I'm worth, but I don't know if I always know what I'm worth.
We lose sight of that, friend, especially when, you know, we're presented with situations that make you question it, especially when you have those unresolved issues. And for me, I could definitely relate because of the fact that, you know, she could tell you, I'm one of the biggest supporters. I will cheer you on, and not just cheer you on. I genuinely do it. Like, I genuinely cheer for people. I genuinely clap loud for them because of the fact that I'm happy for them. But for me, it took me a long time. Like, why? I don't deserve that. I used to feel like I wasn't deserving of certain things. I wasn't deserving of certain treatment because of the things that I experienced in life. And I didn't realize that I had so much unresolved trauma until I'm pushing 40 years old and realizing my mindset was like literally warped. And, you know, one time I was in a session and it was so like a light went off. And she said, you know, Tyra, when someone says to you, you're so intelligent, you're so smart, she's like, you don't bat an eye. But when someone says, oh, you're pretty, you second guess it. And it took me back to when I was in elementary school. And that's what I was known for.
Same.
Straight A's, student of the year, most likely to succeed, class scholar, like trophies, certificates, like that was my thing. And I'm realizing back then I didn't feel good enough. So the only way that I could receive attention was by being intelligent. You know, that was my escape.
I was known as of me and my siblings, I was known as the smart one.
And people will compare you to your siblings, friend.
I was the one who was known as having their life together, because my brother was
responsible. You were the responsible one.
I was the responsible one.
And you were the younger.
Between me and my sibling, I was the go-to person. It still is that.
Same.
And I remember one day asking my mother, and I used to say to her, like, you don't even ask me if I'm okay.
Because she know you was.
She's like, because I know I don't have to worry about you.
Yeah. But you know what? For a strong person, it's like, I realized for strong people, or the ones that people think are strong, we're not strong in every area.
No, and we have no choice.
Right. Because the thing is, if we weren't strong, who gonna... The go-to, who's going to come to the go-to?
Straight up said, because I know I don't have to worry about you. I know he needs more help than you do. But like, and I used to be like, That's not true.
Yeah, just in different ways.
Like, that's
just
not
like you have two children. They're different in different ways. But that doesn't mean one is stronger than the other or one is this or that. They're just different.
They're just different.
And that was my thing. So I felt like I flourished in school. That was my escape, because I wasn't the pretty one. I wasn't the one, that people looked at first like, oh, she's pretty, but oh, she's smart. She's intelligent. So even to this day, someone tell me, oh, you're intelligent. I know, because that's all I heard. So when people be like, oh, you're pretty, it's like foreign to me, because I was the smart one.
The same.
I was the smart one. And so when I looked at that reel that day, no one had to validate me. No one had to tell me. But I'm like, God, look, you did a big one. Look, you did a big one, Jesus.
And it's true. And you don't realize like how certain things affect who you are now. And
yes,
it's like you kind of got to work through those. So I think like I always did, well, I always tried to do what made everybody happy.
Yeah.
Or what made everybody comfortable.
But you got to do what makes you happy,
or what
friend.
made everybody, like what they expected of me, I did. Like, was there times that I definitely did?
There was somewhere deep rooted.
Like, what they didn't expect of me, of course. But, like, most of the time, I always did what was expected.
She kicking my chair, y'all. I just want to tell y'all that. She's kicking my chair. She just did a whole 90-degree turn. But anyway, go ahead, friend.
Like, I think I always did what was expected of me.
Of course, because
even like as a kid, like, I never came home drunk. I never did drugs.
Because deep down the line, you wanted some type of validation as
like,
well.
I never did anything to get me into trouble.
Yeah.
The like worst thing
I can't speak on that
like
one.
The worst thing that I did, and my mother would always say, she never gave me a problem until she decided to be with her husband.
Well, you were grown
at that
then.
point, I was like, I didn't care. And she always, till this day, if you ask her, she's like, she was such a good kid. She never gave me one problem until till it came to her having
well,
to get
God
married.
rest her soul. I don't think Doris could say the same thing, because I was like the boy.
No,
in a sense, I was
really
a piece of work.
Was just always good. I never gave them a reason to question what I was doing. I never was out like that. I was always really good. I never wanted to disappoint.
Yeah.
But I think it was like to just get like that validation.
And you were disappointing yourself.
Yeah.
You were disappointed because you weren't being your authentic self. And it's like, with me, I could definitely relate and understand, because of the fact that you didn't feel sufficient. I could speak for myself. I didn't feel sufficient enough. So where I thought I thrived, I was an overachiever. And I didn't realize, and I could think back now to 11 years old, like, I got to get the best report card. I got to get this. I got to get that, because I felt like that was the only way.
Well, like for us, like I was the kid who came home, did their homework. I was the kid that always got good grades. I mean, for us, my father gave us incentive of money.
Well, that'll be like something for
grade,
anybody to do.
And you're talking about, this was my dad passed in 89, so this was the 80s. We would get like $20 an A.
Right, so you was banking every semester.
So like,
friend.
I was getting money every semester.
If we was friends back then, you would have been doing my homework. Or we probably would have been doing homework together, because I liked homework too.
And it's like, I just knew like, okay, I was gonna.
You had something to look forward to.
I had something to look forward to. Plus, it was for me. It was like my dad. Like, and I'm assuming for my brother, it was sucked, because he used to compare me to my brother, that I did everything perfect and my brother didn't.
Yeah, so it's like a gift and a curse with that.
Yeah, like, but then it's like I had to live up to that. But then it's like my dad passed, and I was not my mom's favorite. And
shut up, she makes me sick.
And it's like that whole perfection thing was gone.
Yeah. And you know what? I think also too, we had a conversation off camera in regards to this. I was the younger sibling.
Me too.
And, my mom was a single mom, and my mom struggled. You know what I mean? Like, she did the best that she could, so my mother struggled. So, I felt, and it was an external thing, because I didn't have like the best clothes. I was like the kid that wore the hand-me-downs after the hand-me-downs. Like, I got it passed on like twice. You know what I mean? So I never had like the best thing. So I used to look at other people and like, I wish I had that. And that made me feel a certain way. And I realized I even carried that into my 30s. And she like enlightened me, like, who cares? Like, who cares about this or who cares about that? But I thought that added value to me because of the fact that if I had nice things, that made me more, what's the word, friend? You good with vocabulary. It made me more like, what's the word? Like I had a brain fart.
Likeable?
Not likable, but more like
gave you more value,
validation, I would say.
Gave you more.
And you know what? And being friends with a person who works hard and self-sufficient and, have these things, she could care less. She could care. But let me tell you something. Every time I drive her car, I swear to God, my credit score go up to 830. And you can't tell me any different. But I say all of that to say the quality is within.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think quality of things is definitely better than quantity because,
All right. So when I send over my list after we end this of the quality things that I want, I'm going to let y'all know to see, how it goes. We're going to see if that quality thing still stands because there's a couple of things, that I want, that I require, that I just, want the Lord to bless me with. And my friend, let Lord touch her heart. Just touch her heart, Jesus. But it's true. And I'm realizing, I say all of that to say that the quality is within. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And sometimes you think your qualities are just average until you take a step back and be like, you know what? My qualities are some of the best qualities that money cannot buy. You know what I mean? And it's an amazing thing when you realize it personally. It's like you're in prison, right? And someone just throws the key at you and you're able to unlock that prison and walk out that door. That's what I feel now with certain things about me that I'm realizing about myself and getting the realization. It was like I was putting my own self in prison.
Well, I think
with my own thoughts.
But I think most of us are in our own thought prison.
Because your mindset could be a prison. You know that.
Because your mind, I think your thoughts create everything.
Absolutely.
Like if your thoughts create everything.
Right. Let me tell you, sis used to create scenarios in her mind and run with them. And you have the nerve to be mad too.
Same.
Over a whole scenario. Thing didn't even happen, but I used to let my mind run so far. Same. I'll be on the porch mentally. The next, I'm down the street on the highway somewhere. And it's like, Tyra, come back.
Same.
Come back, friend. Because you know what? You're putting yourself in that predicament. And I'm grateful for this journey and the things that I'm experiencing, even if it was heartbreaking, even if it was disappointing. I'm grateful because of the fact that I'm learning so much about me. Mm-hmm. It's not even about when you're on a personal journey, the key word to the personal journey, it's personal. Mm-hmm. You can't make it about anyone else. You can't make it about even, we could always revert back to, because I do it. Oh, because it is, or if it was meant to happen the way that it was supposed to happen. And once you get off of that ride that you're on, you're able to be like, okay.
And it's a journey. And it's a journey. Every day is not going to be the best day on that journey. You're going to have rain. You're going to have snow.
But every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Go ahead.
Rick Ross in the building.
Listen, but it just flows out of me sometimes, guys.
But I think the thing is, there's people who want to jump all in on this personal journey and they're missing the cause. Like they're missing why they're on this journey. Mm-hmm. Like either you got to do it for you.
No, but I feel like some people want to be on a personal journey. They want the personal journey, but they still looking for that validation. Like my whole thing is if you're doing something, it's personal. You don't have to announce everything because I feel like when you do that, you're still looking for some sort of outside validation. You know what I mean? And it's like the personal journey is exactly what it is. It's personal, not the fact that you're being private. It is personal. Yeah. It has nothing to do with any outside source or anything. This is between you and you.
Yeah.
It's me versus me, literally. You know what I mean? And
for sure.
I just feel like now that I'm learning these different things and embracing who I am, genuinely, flaws and all, because, like I was saying earlier, everyone has a chapter that they don't want to read out loud.
Ooh, a couple.
But for me, sharing the chapter that I didn't want to read out loud, it gave me some sort of freedom because I used to feel like those were the things that used to imprison me. Mm-hmm. Even though some of the things, wasn't my fault or it didn't, I didn't ask for certain things. It brought a certain amount of shame, a certain amount of guilt, certain amount of insecurity or feeling less than. But little did I know, and like we always talk about perspective, that's where my strengths lied. That's where I built my strength, because, okay, you went through this, you went through that, but you're still standing.
Yeah, and you can't. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm yawning.
It's raining.
It's raining. The thing is, like, we can beat ourselves up all the time. Like, and I do this, and I'm really I'm notorious for doing.
We
this.
both are.
I'll react to something, and then like want to beat myself up
for how she reacted,
for how I reacted, because it's like I know better.
Yeah, but sometimes you just don't want to do better.
Like,
you know what I mean? Sometimes
it's like I know better at this point. I'm far enough in this journey that I know better.
But those emotions take over, friend.
But it's like that part of me that didn't grow, like that's still a child, acts out, and it's like I know better. And it's like, sometimes I do better.
You just got to ask the Lord to help you.
And then sometimes I'm just like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah, but we all have those moments, because let me tell you something about a week or two ago, I called you and I was even on 10. I was about 30. I was on 34, to the point you ever get so mad because you feel insulted that you're screaming until your throat is literally sore. Like, I know my blood pressure was 200 plus because I wanted all the smoke, fire, charcoal, grill, everything, because it's like, that 9-year-old came out full force and she did not care. And I think she had a little bonnet on too. But I say all of that to say, it's like, like you said, life is a journey. It's not a marathon. But the biggest thing that we have to do, we have to give ourselves grace. We talked about last week about giving other people grace, but the hardest thing for us is to give ourselves grace.
I know, but it's like, you're going to give yourself grace, but then like, how many, like.
No, I get how many times, but I'm saying give yourself grace as you're going through the process.
It's like when you know you're handling a situation right, you feel so much better about it.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you handle a situation, and although you might be right in that situation,
at
but
the
how
moment
you handle it makes you like.
And it makes you not even realize about the situation anymore. You just realizing and thinking about and harping on how you reacted.
Yeah.
Not realizing every action.
Like, that's what I gotta still grow on. That is what I am working on in this lovely 50-year-old mark.
Yeah, that's what we gonna march out of that, friend. We're gonna march out of it. Today is the month of March. What we marching out? What you marching out of? I already told you what I'm marching out of. Are you marching out of tantrums? We can put that on the list.
I'm gonna try.
Listen, we're gonna speak those things that are not as though they are.
I'm gonna try.
I told you I'm marching out of fear, anxiety,
I think
depression.
I need to march out of fear, because I think fear holds me back. And the fear of like what's unknown keeps me in positions and situations.
Because you're a complacent person. Like, you have a set routine.
I like routine.
Because it gives you some sort of control. And I think that's where your fear comes in.
Right.
Because
it's like, I used to, and I have told my kids about this. This was like, I did this like in high school. I think it started in high school, which if I look back on it now, makes sense, because that is when my dad passed, and like suddenly. So I used to think I had OCD. I might have slight OCD, but I used to think I had OCD because I did this thing where when I felt like I was being, when I felt like I had no control, I would literally, it's crazy.
Look, I want to hear this.
Like, if I was thinking words, I would spell them out in my head. On my fingers.
Like, what do you mean?
So like if I started feeling like out of control, like where I had no control, or like something was happening, it might not even been happening. It's probably like my own self. Like, I know it now as my freaking nervous system was probably dysregulated.
Of course.
But I didn't know that then.
No, we don't.
Was like the 80s and like the early 90s.
Look, they ain't even know back then.
And like, once I felt like either a fear or something, I would like literally spell words out on my hands.
But I would count. So that's why I'm like,
I would do that, but it was more letters.
She gonna have me Googling stuff. I'm gonna be on WebMD when I get home.
And like, I have been to counseling in the past, and that was like forms of OCD. And like, looking at it now makes sense. I stopped doing this probably, I want to say maybe a good like 15 years ago, when I started realizing that when I would do it.
Yeah, because sometimes you do things and you have habits.
I used to do it and not even realize it. And I thought it was perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Until as time passed and I would notice when it was happening.
Right. Because you do things and you don't realize
And
sometimes.
it's like, I notice now, like, I think definitely a lot more in tune with my body, or when I'm going under that fight or flight mode, or when I'm going into like this freeze mode. Like, I'll like clench my jaw. I feel my shoulders tense.
You'll feel tense.
Like, so I know now, but now I also know like I need to regulate my nervous system. So I'll start breathing and stuff. And that's something too, like I just started incorporating, because I just started realizing like I'm in a constant state of fight or flight.
Yeah.
And like, I do it to myself.
But you know what I realized too, until someone addressed, I didn't know I did this. For many years, when I would speak to people, I would look down. I would never look at anyone in their eyes. I looked down, and someone, noticed that and was like, why you don't, that's the confidence thing. Look people in the eye, because I always felt like, and then now that I realize I do it, and I just thought it was a form of shyness, because, I'm very shy at moments, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's hard to believe, but I used to be very shy growing up. And, I would look at people. I wouldn't look at people at all, because not that I wanted to look at them. I didn't want them to look at me. You, yeah. It's a weird thing. But speaking of the 80s, friend, I was watching BMF yesterday. Y'all leave me alone.
I had a fringe jacket. I'm like, no.
Right. My aunt had one with the shingles. You know that leather jacket with the shingles?
It's called fringe.
I say shingles, she say fringe, whatever.
Shingles
it moved.
Is on the house.
It moved. Anyway, I wish I was like a late teen in the 80s. Like with the sweatsuits, the gold. I think we should dress up. Which I think I want to dress in the 80s one day. I want the rope chain, the bamboo earrings. Right, but could we get like 2 wicker chairs for that? Because the wicker chairs was the bomb back in the day. And I want to do like the crimps on the side. What you think, Joe? What you think? You think we should do an 80s thing? What? I want to put on a feline sweatsuit or something like that.
Not a fila. Feline.
See, first of all, this is why I don't go to her house. This is why I don't go to her job. This is why I don't answer her text messages. Y'all see this online, right? What you were saying, brother, before I was rudely interrupted?
Feline.
Well, I got to go on Amazon. I got to order my stuff. I got to get me some Reeboks, the 5411s. Like, I want this out. Last year, I was trying to tell her we should dress up as Salt and Pepper. She's corny. She told me, I didn't want to do that. I want to dress up in the 80s. What you think, friend? That's your era. Shine, friend. I'll get you some Aquanet.
That's my era.
Right. Go ahead, friend.
Wednesday. Why am I going to say June?
But I'm geriatric, y'all.
Wednesday, March 6th, 7 p.m.
We going live.
TikTok live. We're going to do some Q&A. You guys could ask us
and y'all
questions.
be nice too. Don't be asking mean stuff.
Please.
Because let me tell you something. Please. God, I told y'all the episode before, I'm between praise is what I do and nuck if you buck. So please, be kind. Be kind. Right.
Don't ask crazy questions, but ask us general. Like, we're down to answer questions about us.
I don't know if everyone's like this one that I catch tomorrow.
This is going to be on.
Oh, this is going to be on Thursday. So the following Wednesday.
Well, y'all get it when y'all watch it. Y'all going to watch it.
The following Wednesday.
And I'm going to just say this too. We're going to be in the comforts. So sis might have, I'm not, maybe I may not wear my bonnet. Look how she looking at me already, judging me under her baseball cap. But we're going to have a good time. Just some questions. We're going to, share a little bit about ourselves, down what's our favorite food and, favorite color or whatever else.
I bet you guys can guess mine. Because I'm in the same
2 words, Wednesday Addams.
Every week. But I do come from work, granted. But, so yeah. Thanks for listening. I don't know if we ranted on. We went in a lot of different directions.
But this is us. We talk like this.
We went in a lot of different directions. But Shout out to everybody who's been subscribing
Muchas
to our
gracias.
YouTube. We're getting a lot of nice feedback on our on Instagram in regards to our reels and what we talk about.
Right.
My mom said that she watched our podcast.
No, she didn't. Let me tell you, Dora came with the do. Sis had the side bang. What is it called?
She got a perm.
She got her. I said, sis. And she had her side bang on. I was like, girl, you dyed your hair. She was like, no, it just get a little light. Sis was slaying.
So
let me tell you, she's goals.
She said that she watched our podcast the other night. She went on YouTube and she watched our podcast. And she said, what does perspective mean? And I said,
love sis.
It's how you look at something. She said, oh. So shout out to my mom.
For real.
For
That's the real
supporting
OG.
us. That's the OG.
That's the OG. She's
OG.
hilarious.
If we get her on here, first of all, she's shy, but
No, she's funny.
she don't give a
She funny.
what
She
says.
needs to do a live TikTok with cooking because that's what she would really like.
She don't
doing.
care what she says. She's at that stage of life where she feels she could say whatever comes
Because
to
she
her
can.
brain, and that's it.
Because
and
she
that's
can.
all. Joe
And she
can
has that,
contest to
and
that.
she has that cute Italian accent. You know what I mean? And she's like that cute little Italian grandmother.
Until that
She's
mouth
the funniest.
comes going on.
Yeah, she ripped me like twice for being late. You know. And she's like, what is your problem? I was like, I'm sorry, Nona. I was like, black people. The black. No.
So
I love her.
She watched, but thank you for everyone who subscribes,
Yes.
who watches it, who gives us comments, who DM us about it. It's greatly appreciated. Like I said, I don't care how many views we get.
We don't do that for this.
We don't do
that for this. Is therapeutic for me, y'all.
But thank you. And I guess for the following week, don't forget to catch our live on Wednesday, 7 p.m. TikTok. Make sure you follow us.
Wonderful. And she didn't say the word subject. I'm so proud of her.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.
Love it.
Connie get on my nerve. Y'all might not see me next week because I'm sick.